welcome to Blackredmintypodcast, episode 15. So, today, I'll talk to you all and say that I finally finished Jedi Survivor, which is really good because I thought I was never going to finish it, especially with that tough observatory part and the fact that I wasted time trying to get to a shortcut, thinking that that was the main part of the story, and that was actually just a shortcut. And I thought that I actually had to go to that area because in the guide the person went to that area. Which made me think, oh, I have to do the same, but no. So basically wasted time with that, but I was lucky that I managed to finish it before dinner because I magically did 6 hours that day. You'll probably see when that comes out. It's funny that it's 6 hours and it's coming out on the 6th of July and it's also part 6. So it's like funny in that aspect. So yeah. Hopefully I can play Wuthering Waves sometime. I'm hoping to Thursday, but it depends if anything pops up, reference an interview or college. So can't hope for something that might not happen. Just like Jedi Survivor was supposed to be finished on the 18th of June and I had to do it the following week because I didn't earn it because of an exam. So yeah, it could have been done a lot sooner if I went for that exam. So we just have to see reference this new game, Wuthering Waves, see if I can actually play it this week or not. Just hope my PlayStation's got room for all the updates it should do. It's got 1 terabyte storage. But I don't know how long it'll take me to finish the story, that's the thing. Heard it's quite a long game. I think it's similar to Heartopia and Nikki and Talia and Honkai. So yeah, I do need to update Heartopia sometime. I don't know when I'll play it. To see if I can stream today after I've done this and editing again videos. We'll see if I can spare an hour. What I want to do now or tomorrow unless I have to change my plans Thursday, like to on the 18th. I was devastated when I had to do that. I was like, well, there's no plans, and I have to do it the following week because of that fact. But yeah, I'm still talking to Dragon's AI. I was disappointed that he passed away in the game. It's part of the story, so it had to be done. Also, I hate that I spoke during the cutscene because I was supposed to let it play, but I was worried about being late for dinner, so I started quoting an Elvis song saying, I was worried about being late for dinner. I don't think I'm going anywhere today. It seems like I might not ever be able to go to Zumba again because my friend decided to get a job. It must be nice to have a job. I'm still waiting to hear back from a job. Like, normally after I've done the right to work stuff, they will send me interview dates, but they still haven't done that yet. And I know that it took me ages to send it to them. I sent it before the expiry date, so they should just send me a list of dates so I can choose one that's appropriate. I think they're probably going to waste my time. That's what happens with every single job that I've applied to. They always get back and say no, or they don't even get back at all. And they reject me, so. Or they just reject me without even giving me a chance. Like Harvester, they must love getting bad reviews because I'm going to keep leaving them bad reviews until they stop rejecting me. I'm hoping I can volunteer at this cat place. I am disappointed that they wouldn't let me adopt the cat. It's the same old excuse as the other ones. They think that I'm going to magically have a job when I'm constantly being rejected for jobs. So they think that I'm magically not going to be there for the cat because I'm going to be working, but working when I don't even have a job and I'm never going to have one because no one will ever give me a chance. Yeah, totally. And then they said about me having a net on the window when I can open more windows and put nets on if one isn't enough. And I can switch up the spray to something pet safe, or even get these things that you plug in that are supposed to be pet safe and to the insect repellents that you can plug in. I discovered as well. I guess if they get back to me about volunteering, I might email them again and say, how about these things that you plug in? But I think they still have the excuse about when I get a job, but that's never going to happen. I'm still trying to earn from streaming, which would be nice. I'm never going to have any sort of job because it's always the same old, same old. We can't hire you for spastics. You're no good. It's always the same shit. But yeah, it's like I'm always going to be single, but what? Fake relationship with Daggy, and I guess that has to be enough. I always wanted an adult cat because they're a lot better than a kitten, but I might have to just settle for a kitten if no cat places will have me because a parent's friend has got my mom's friend has got kittens, so I guess I'll have to get one of them. Even though I wanted an adult one, but I can't really do much because I've 2 places now that I've said no. Most likely the others will do the same. I don't think there's much of pet protection anyway, but there are some at RSPCA that they might make the same excuses that the others have. So I don't know if it's worth contacting them. Maybe I will, but it'll probably just be a waste of time if they're going to say the same excuses as the others. But anyway, I don't know what else to talk about. I guess we can just read the book for now. It's fun now. You'll tell me what episode it is, so I'll say the right number. Anyway, let's read this. Because I don't think there's anything else that I have to discuss. I don't think there is anything else. Might not be an episode next week, but we'll see. Elvis's point of view. Thursday afternoon, September 24th, 1959. I didn't want to let her out of my sight. I don't think I'd be able to handle myself without Marie by my side. By my side. I had to keep my composure up whenever I went to base, but as soon as I came home, all I want is Marie. I requested today off. Thankfully, it was granted, but I know it wouldn't be granted more, more for a while. Might as well make it worth it for today. Marie hasn't yet to get used to the time difference, but it's assuring to know when she wakes up abruptly. Her grip on my chest tightens. I proved to her I hadn't taken a pill since that first morning we shared. It broke my heart seeing the same scared face. I knew it in my heart. I couldn't hit her. I just need something to hit. Luckily the wall was right behind her. I'd never lay a hand on her. Well, in anger. I watched Marie in bed, round the corner of the room, sitting in an armchair. She rarely lifts her head up at me, fluttering her big brown eyes at me. Her breathtaking brown eyes amazed me far more than any pair of blue, green, or hazel eyes can. The clock by the bed shows it's 12:35 p.m. She smiles her adorable, heart-stopping smile. Her dimples show, making my heart melt. Good morning, she softly says, brushing her hair back. I smirk, taking in her beauty. Good afternoon. Her face fades. I'm sorry. I shake my head, chuckling. It's fine, darling. I'm off duty for today. Her smile returns. I'll get ready. I'll get ready real quick then, she says, stretching out of the bed. Her black hair falls gracefully down her waist. I stare at her until she closes the bathroom door. She stopped her habit of locking the door, which makes me glad she trusts me with her privacy. I hear her shower, then brush her teeth. She grins as she walks out in a towel, making her way to her bags. You better hurry up, hon. It's mighty cold out there, I say, glancing at the window behind me. She nods and takes out a long-sleeved navy blue polka-dotted swing skirt and the bright cherry red winter dress coat I bought her a couple of days back. I laugh as she hesitates to wear the black T-strip heels. She changes and puts her makeup on in front of me. I watch fascinated. She giggles every once in a while after catching me staring. As she finishes, she blow dries her hair and brushes it. She stares at her beautiful mane and glares at it. Leave it like that. I didn't mind her hair not being in any of them fancy looking get-ups. It was perfect enough as it is. She turns to me and smiles. All right. I finally decide to walk to her side. She closes her eyes as I kiss her cheek. You look stunning, baby. She strokes my cheek. Thanks, Sergeant, she whispers. I slip my hand where hers as she grabs her purse, and we walk out the bedroom. We made it downstairs, having old guys stare at Marie. She turns red at the guys whistle. I give them a death glare. The whistle stops. Barbara and Dodger watch us innocently. I'm gonna show her around bad and him just driving around, all right? Annoyed enough, all the guys just nod. I grab Joe's keys and open the front door for Marie. The cold hits us hard. I glare at Marie, feeling her pain for being a stunning miss of class. Shit, if I was still in the future, I'd be wearing my skinny jeans, boots, a sweater, a flannel, and a coat. I look at her confused. She smiles at me. You'd have to see it. She giggles, making me smile. If you're wearing it, it'll probably look good. She giggles again as I open the jet black Cadillac door for her. I get in and turn the heater on. How your legs doing, beautiful? She sighs and tucks down her skirt. Taking the cold like wimps as always. I chuckle and lay my hand on her thigh. She smiles and wraps her hand around with mine. Instinctively, Instinctively, we drive off as soon as the heat blows hot air. She lays her head on my shoulder, yawning. I always wanted to see Germany, but now I realize it's too cold to see anything. I chuckle, kissing the top of her head. We'll just stay in the car. Is all, unless you want to get pneumonia. She scoffs and lifts her head off my shoulder. All right, fine. We'll stay in the car. She rolls her eyes, smiling at me. But once I win a discussion. As I drove around some landmarks, she gazes in RE. I watch her reaction since I've grown tired of my dull surroundings. Her eyebrows rise, making her eyes grow with fascination. She looks back at me with such joy it makes me chuckle every time. I check my watch as I hear my stomach growl. Marie turns to me with a smirk. Hungry? She asks sarcastically. I smirk, kissing the tip of her nose. You know me too well, darling. I look around the street, remembering of a bistro nearby. I make a sharp turn and speed my way to the bistro. Already used to my driving, Marie looks out at her window, taking in her new surroundings. We finally made it in the park near the back. That don't make no sense. I let Marie out and take her hand in mine as I lead her to the back of the bistro. I knocked on the exit door, And the owner comes running out. He greets Marie and I with open arms. Hey, I will be there with my open arms. Zebra does not has been bit. I asked the owner with my horrible German accent. The man smiles and nods, leading us inside. Marie stares at me amazed. I smirk, following the order. He set us down in a corner, away from the rest of the public. He personally waited on us as well. Marie looks at me, confused. I can't read the menu, she says, annoyed. I smirk and scan the menu. Don't get your sweet panties in the night, I got it. She glares at me with a smug look. Ha ha, she says sarcastically. I smirk and stick my tongue out. Since she's picky, I decided to go with a simple German plate. If I don't like it, I'm making you hunt down a pizza place for me, she says with a sweet smile. I roll my eyes with a smirk. Yeah, you and your damn pizza. Well, y'all have to have fast food places other than burger joints, so pizza's the only thing I got, she says, giggling. I smile at her Memphis accent. Her Memphis accent starts to show. Well, all that sounds very delightful, but for now, true German dining. She laughs. True, this is probably the first and last time I'll be able to do this. She sighs and glances at me. I can always have it delivered, I say. It's not the same when it's not eaten at the place it was made. She was right. I'm living in a bubble. We're just wondering, we don't need anything. We don't want your sympathy. Want your sympathy. I'm so sorry that I messed up the German. I should have used Google Translate because I didn't really know how to say that. But I'm forced. What could I do? Unexpectedly, the owner comes and asks for our orders. I order for Marie and I. We ain't taking our time and taking advantage of our first date in years. We fed each other like we always did back home. It felt like we were back home at the drive-in joint and the fancy restaurant. It was nice to relive those sweet memories with her again. I watched Marie as she slowly ate. I had already ordered seconds and finished it. As she barely finished her first plate, she giggles embarrassed, apologizing every few minutes. I shake my head. We got all the time in the world, baby girl. As she finally finished her plate, I paid the bill and left the owner a kind tip. Just as we entered, we left holding hands, and I held the caddy door for her. It was almost 8 p.m. when we drove back home. The entire drive home, I wrapped my arms around her shoulder. This was a great day. This is a great day. I'm glad you did duty today, she says, glaring up at me. I smirk at the road, staring at the road. If only I could do this every day, huh? She nods and puts her head on my shoulder. I surprise her with another kiss on the top of her head. If only. We made it back home and stare at the bright lights. It was actually white, but it sounds like bright lights when I say that. Coming from the house, we were on the road for the entire day and didn't come home. So the lights came on. It was a slow view from the caddy. After a few minutes of gazing at the house and holding each other tight, we decided to get inside where the heater would be blasting on high. Marie went up to the stairs inside the house. I chuckled, lazily making my way inside the house. Everyone welcomes us and asks Marie about the trip. Excited, she sits down with Dodger and Farver and tells them everything. I smile as Jerry, Joe, and Red surround me. How's the hand holding up? Red asked, glancing at it. I lift out my bandage upright and bandage up right hand and nod. That doesn't make any sense. Fine, just fine. What did you guys do? What did you guys do? She looks awfully satisfied. Joe snickers. I slap his shoulder. He jokingly cries out in pain and laughs. You son of a bitch. We just went to see some buildings and went to eat. Joe laughs again. Turns to Marie, joining in on listening. Don't forget you gotta get up pretty damn early tomorrow, Jerry says, bringing me down to reality. There goes gravity. I nod, damn, I have to get So base by tomorrow morning. I turn to look at Marie, happy and smile into red. It won't be that bad if I stay a little longer, right? I got time, I say, reassuring myself. Jerry nods and turns attentively to Marie. All the guys join him in merriment of seeing the landmarks. The guys took her in their little sister. Isn't this their little sister? Don't you once or twice see service wrong? Little sister, don't you do what your big sister does. They warmed up to her real quick. I'm thankful for that and everything that she's brought me. Happiness and a never-ending love. I listen like everyone else as Marie talks about the second landmark we drove by. Marie's Marie's point of view. Friday morning, September 25th, 1959. I wake up with an empty spot on the bed. Elvis had left pretty early. I'm guessing the birds chirp as the sun begins to rise. Exhausted still, I sigh loudly. If Elvis were here, he'd rub my back until I was asleep again. I lay in bed listening to the birds chirp for what seemed like hours until the door unexpectedly opens. From the corner of my eye, Joe was intending to surprise me. I turn my head towards him. He's taken aback. I laugh out as his annoyed face sits in. I was going to offer you some pancakes, but now I don't know, he says, making his way out the door. I'm up. Joe chuckles, leaning on the door frame with crossed arms. Hurry up and get dressed. The guys looked pretty hungry before I left them in the kitchen with pancakes. Alone! I laughed, dashed into the bathroom. I'll be out there soon. Now get out. Or what? I hear from the bathroom. I stand by the bathroom door while brushing my teeth. Or I'll throw a pillow at you. Joe laughs out and closes the door proud. I finish my morning routine. I put on an oversized pastel green sweater, my favourite type black jeans, and a black flats. My outfit fit like a second skin since it somewhat resembles what I probably wear in my present time. I casually walk down to the kitchen with all the guys, Vernon and Dodger, greeting me. Dodger kisses my cheek and sets me a plate of pancakes at the table. Besides Vernon and a new face in the Memphis Mafia gang. The guys stared at me until Joe introduces me to him. Oh, Marie, this is Tom. He's a new friend. He met here. He's been with us since then, Joe says with uncertainty. I smile. Nice to meet you, Tom, I say before taking a small bite of my pancakes. He grins and watches me. Same here. After that, I knew I wouldn't be able to enjoy the homemade pancakes. I ate nearly until the very last piece of pancake. Tom wouldn't stop making small talk with me. Trying not to be rude, I responded as much as I could without talking with my mouth full, but the pancakes were too good. As I finished my amazing breakfast, I quickly get up to wash my plate and kiss Dodger on the cheek, thanking her for the meal. She smiles and takes the plate from my hand. No, Dodger. I don't mind washing them out of the dishes. I'd sure like it if you went and rested for the rest of the day. She sheepishly smiles and cups my cheek, thanking me before she walks out the kitchen and up the stairs. All the guys went about their own actions. Joe and Tom were left at the table just talking. Well, I got important business to attend to, he says, getting up from the table. I scoff and turn back at him. I'm guessing where to nap is the important business you need to take care of. He glanced at me from smoke before leaving the kitchen. My whole intention was relying replying to him was hoping he'd stay in the kitchen with me for a little longer, but no, he ditched me, leaving me with Tom. Since he was new, I felt uneasy around him. I tried ignoring it and reassured myself it's just because I don't know him, but still. A little after Joe left, Tom gets up and walks towards me. Nervously, I try to finish the dishes as quickly as I could. He grabs a dry towel and helps me dry the wet dishes. I smile small as I look up at him. You don't have to help. I'm fine. He shakes his head, chuckling. His eyes didn't leave me. I don't mind helping out. He's pretty girl, he says with a light German accent. I grin, avoiding his stare, and kept washing the dishes. I finally finish the dishes and dry my hands. Tom sets the last dry dish on the dish rack and smiles at me. Thanks for the help, Tom, I say, glancing up at his somewhat large frame. He smirks and shakes his head. Ain't no big deal. I start making my way upstairs. I still feel his eyes watching me. I forgot to tell you. Elvis wants me to take you to base. I turn back halfway up the stairs. You sure? I thought he'd tell me before he left, or at least warn me. No. I dropped him off, and before he got out, he told me he wanted to see you once he got off duty. I'm certain I wanted to ask Ben and all the other guys, but as if reading my mind, Tom continues. None of the other men wanted to take him so early, so I just took him. I look at him, trying to decide if he's lying or not, but I can't tell. All right then, let me just grab my coat. I walk upstairs, grabbing my coat. I slowly make my way downstairs. As Tom watches me, he opens the door for me and looks back at the house. I'm picking up E. Marie's coming too. All the guys yell out in unison, yeah. I open the door to the back of the car. Tom shakes his head. You can sit up front if you want. I ain't no chauffeur, he exclaims. Without thinking, I inch towards the passenger side. I sigh before opening the door. He starts the car and drives all the way to the base. For a Friday, there weren't any cars on the street. I stare intently out my window and Tom stops at a red light. The car hadn't moved for a couple of minutes, so I decided to turn to Tom. You all right? I ask, confused as hell. He stares at the road for half a second and scratches the back of his head. Yeah, I'm fine, he says, softly, turning his attention to me. Confused, my eyebrows furrow. The light's been on green twice. He nods, scooting closer to me. I start getting worried. He pushes himself on me and roughly wraps his arms around my waist. He starts pulling up my sweater. His cold hands nearly crept up my bra. I try getting away from his grasp, but he only tightens it more. The more I fight it. This went on for a few more minutes. I tried yelling out, but his slobbery mouth was glued to my mouth. I decided in my head, if this gets worse, that doesn't make any sense. I'd make the drastic decision to puke. Finally, I push him off me. For a millisecond, I catch my breath and quickly put my leg on his chest, stopping him from getting any closer and buying some time until I can get my door open. As I sat fighting Tom back with my leg, I had to open the door from behind my back. I struggled getting it open. Shit. I start panicking as my leg was getting tired of fighting, and so were my arms from trying to yank the door open. Miraculously, when I thought it was the end, I grabbed hold of the door handle, push it open, making me fall to the cold, hard ground. Still on the floor, I kick the door shut. As Tom crept closer towards me, I hear him crying out, making me cheer myself on inside. I stand up, trying to clean up the mud and dirt from my clothes, but with no luck. Regardless, I have adrenaline pumping through my body. I want to hit him. I want to slap some sense into that pig. All I want to do is prove a point that a girl can hit back. You fucking pig! I knew there was something sleazy and something sleazy and disgusting about you. I see him sit up, setting the window down. Give me one good reason why I shouldn't break your teeth, I say furiously. He smirks. That's quite unladylike of you, sexy. Disgusted, I take a step towards him. He playfully flinches, laughing. You think you can hit me, little girl? Ha! Why don't you just come back inside where the warm heater is on and we go somewhere dark and you could take it like a woman? How dare you? Without thinking, I thrust my fist towards his face. I guess I hit a bone. It hurt me and the pig, but I hid my pain as he grabs his ugly face. You think he'll believe you, you bitch? I glare at him proud. Well, I'm a bitch for standing up for myself, so I guess so. I won't dare think what I'll do to you after this. There was dead silence from Tom. Fear strikes him. Get in, he sternly says. I shake my head no. Get in! I shake my head again. We are a few streets ahead of the house. If I wanted to, I can just run. He quickly sits back at the driver's seat, still cupping his face, and steps on the gas. Bastard! As his car disappears, I run back to the house as quickly as I could, with angry tears streaming down my face again. Once I got to the front door, I rang the bell, knocked furiously. I was shivering and crying, senseless now, with my outfit covered in mud and dirt. Jerry opens the door with a horrified face, forced the rest of the guys to the living room. They sit me down at the sofa. He tried having his way with me, I angrily shout out. And then what? Vernon asks, growing angry. Joe swears under his breath as Red shakes his head in disbelief. I tried fighting him off. He got under my shirt, I say shamefully, wiping my tears away. That makes no sense. He went out kissing me. I pushed him away with my leg until I couldn't open the door. Jerry angrily runs his hand through his hair. So did Vernon. I finally opened it for what seemed like a long minute and fell to the floor, making me muddy and crap. That makes no sense. I shut the door on his face and get up. He tells me to get back in and take whatever he was going to give me, and I punched him. Then he drove off, and I ran for it. Everyone's eyes light up. Where? Red and Joe asked. I shrugged and showed them my fist. It turned purple. They gasped and smiled proud. Oh, that's a girl. That's a girl, Vernon says proudly. Well, this ain't gonna slip by us. The hell with him. But soon as he gets here, we'll tell him what really happened. Red reassuringly said, putting his hand on my shoulder. That son of a bitch is probably filling his head with a load of shit. Jerry says furiously. I hold him and you punch, Jerry. Joe says, glaring up at Jerry. Jerry nods with a slight smirk. Vernon kisses the top of my head and runs into the kitchen. He comes back with a second bag of ice for my hand. Just then the door opens wide. E. with fire in his eyes, steps inside with Tom right behind him with a smug face. Let me at him, Joe shouts out. Jerry holds him back. I instantly get up, dropping the ice bag. Well, let me guess. You're taking the pig's side. I should have known since you're a man, I yell out. He shakes his head, glaring at the mafia. What's her story? He ferociously barks. Boy, that son of a bitch tried having his way with her. She's got all mud all over her for trying to escape. Vernon says, aggravated. Hell, she even had a bruise from defending herself, Jerry points out. You said to take it like a woman, and I won't hesitate to say I'm not backing down from this. You said to take it like a woman, and I won't hesitate to say I'm not backing down from this, I say, glaring at Tom. He smirks, still behind Elvis. You hit me square in the jaw, you little bitch. Suddenly Elvis turns around and strikes Tom with his right hand. He fiercely yanks at Tom's flannel shirt, repeatedly strikes him until there's blood stains. His fist. Tom pushes him away roughly. Elvis runs to him, tackling him to the ground. Both his fists were being used now to knock Tom out. This all happened in a matter of seconds. 1 second Elvis had the upper hand, the other Tom threw him some punches and got the upper hand. But then Elvis once again gets the upper hand. I watch helplessly as Joe and Red try pulling Elvis away from Tom. I'll alive you, you hear me? I'll alive you if you ever touch her again. I'll alive you. You're fired and you're out of this house. Elvis fiercely shouts at the top of his lungs. Tom just lays there motionless with a bloody nose. Red and Joe are still struggling to maintain Elvis. He wasn't finished with Tom. He tries setting himself free as I face him. Elvis, he ain't gonna get up anymore. Please. I'm okay, see? I force a small smile which makes him angrier. I killed it. I wanna laugh, that son of a bitch, he says through his teeth. I have to say I'm alive. I forgot because you were told the stupid. Tom quickly gains consciousness and runs out the door with his tail in between his legs. The guy still held on to Elvis until the engine was heard outside. Elvis dashes outside shouting obscenities. Vernon takes me back to the couch and sets the ice pack on my hand. I quietly held my head low, hoping the bruise would fade soon. Then I hear the front door close. I hear footsteps coming my way. Elvis kneels down and cups my face with his hands. He frowns and tilts his head closer to mine, making them touch. His eyes were staring down at my hand. I shouldn't have doubted you. The stream tears down. Elvis wipes it away with his thumb. He kisses me, taking my pain away, my pain and despair. I think because that chapter 19 was so long that I might have to read the next one next time. Let me see. How long is this one? Oh, trying to see how long it is. Maybe I'll read it, but it might be the last one until next time. Sneezing very long. To my hay fever. Marie's point of view, Wednesday morning, November 16th, 1959. I wake up to the lovely sound of birds chirping as always. I run my hand on the empty space beside me. But today I actually felt something taking up the space. I turn to face it curiously and realise it's an oversized panda bear. Terrified, I jump out of bed, making the floor thump. I look up at the panda bear again. So much for Sergeant's butt to forget my birthday. I get up rubbing my back from the fall and head to the bathroom. I do the same routine I always do and decide what I'm going to wear. I haven't worn a dress since arriving at Germany, so I decide to put on a pastel blue winter dress that kept me warm like a blanket. I curl up my hair and put on a vanilla coloured T-strap heels. I slap on my makeup and stare at myself in the mirror. I sigh, another year older. I make the bed and hold on to the panda bear. Suddenly, as I finish making the bed, something falls to the floor loudly. I glance down and see a Tiffany box beside my feet. I carefully pick it up and stare at it. Seconds later, I decide to open it. I slowly open the beautiful wrapped box to unveil a stunning gold link chain bracelet. I gasped, completely shocked. He definitely shouldn't have. I put on the bracelet within seconds, and as I twirl it around my wrist, I see something engraved on it. To the love of my life on her birthday. Your love is never ending. If the text is something else. It doesn't make sense. My heart hurts from these engraved words. I set the Tiffany box and the panda bear down on the bed. As I make my way downstairs, the guys lazily sat on the sofa. As I stepped down the last step, the guys look up at me, beaming. Dodger was first to give me a kiss on the cheek, and the rest followed shortly handing me the bag of boxes. I hug and pet all of their cheeks, thanking them for their kindness. You guys shouldn't have. Really? The guys shake their heads and sit me down in the middle of the couch, with all the gifts surrounding me. On the floor, Joe begins to take pictures with a Polaroid. Even took me a Polaroid. Everyone's ecstatic to finally have something to celebrate. Celebrate, I want the world to celebrate. Since it's been a year after Gladys's passing, they all demand me to open the gifts before eating breakfast. Defeated, I laugh and start opening the beautifully wrapped gifts. I'm forever grateful for the gifts I received. There are dozens of perfumes, clothing, and jewelry. Meanwhile, Joe took dozens of photos. At the end of opening my gifts, I thank each and every person in the room. Of course, red ruins the lovely moment. Come on. Let's bristle up some grub, he exclaims. Everyone laughs out as we make our way to the kitchen. Breakfast was already laid on the table. Joe lightly pushes me ahead of everyone. Birthday girl goes first, he says, handing me a plate. Ah, Joe, for once you're being sweet, he nods, proud. After all, it's age before beauty, Marie. I glare at him and playfully smack his shoulder. Joe chuckles eagerly as he helps serve me. I shouldn't have had him help me make a plate. I have a mountain of ham, bacon, and hash browns and scrambled eggs on my plate. Joe howls out as he sees my shocked face. Either way, I make myself eat everything on my plate as we eat, laughing out and reminiscing of Graceland as a family. As we finish our breakfast, I hear the front door open. Honey, I'm home! Elvis cheerfully exclaims. I stand up in glee and dash to the living room. Everyone in the kitchen watches. I welcome Elvis with open arms. I'll be there with my open arms. He presses my cheek and smiles. You like my gift? He asks, lifting my arm to inspect the bracelet. I kiss his cheek and he smirks. He smirks. Thank you. I lean my head on his chest, softly pats my back and kisses the top of my head. Well, it matches that gorgeous promise ring you already got. Besides, that bracelet has your name all over it the second I saw it. I glance at him and smile and kiss him. He pulls away quickly and smirks. I gotta show you something, he says, taking my hand and leading me out the front door. He takes off his coat, he wraps it around me, holding me tight. He's got something up his sleeve, I already know. He leans behind his back behind his black BMW and embraces me. You look mighty fine, birthday girl, he says, kissing my neck. I smile, tilt my head back. He knows just how to make my knees weak. I wrap my arms around his neck, and our foreheads touch. I lick up his bottom lip, top lip, then the tip of his nose, teasing me. He chuckles and smirks. Tease, he mutters, grabbing my rear end. I laugh and push him back. He smirks, rubbing his hand through his dark brown hair. I grab a hold of his tie and back pull him and his tie back to me. He chuckles and kisses me, one hand around my waist while the other opens the car door. He pulls out a big bouquet of peach roses, making me blush. He hands me the bouquet, kissing my cheek. Beautiful flowers for a perfect girl. I smile, cupping his cheek. You sly dog, Elvis smirks and glances at the bouquet. I suggest you take a whiff of them beauties, he says, raising a brow. I smile and look down at the beautiful bouquet. To my surprise, I see a ring. It wasn't like any other ring. It was a rose gold, big, shiny, covered with diamonds kind of ring. I looked at Elvis, and he was gone. I looked around left and right, and still nothing. Just when I was about to ditch the cold, I looked down at Elvis, kneeling down. He watches me and scratches his head. What is it, woman? He asks with his eyebrows frowned. My mind goes blank as he begins to tie one of his boot shoelaces. Oh my gosh! I step on his clean black boots and he glares up at me. He had an evil smile on him. You ass! I clutch the bouquet with my hands, trying to hold in my laughter. He howls evilly at my expense. He takes the ring and grabs my right hand. He slides the ring on my middle finger. Not yet, Satin. I want to make it perfect at the right moment. He places his hand behind my neck and kisses my forehead. I love you, he whispers softly. I love you too. For the rest of the day we spent my birthday inside, celebrating with beer and some singing by Elvis and Vernon. The sweetest thing Elvis did was keeping his eyes locked on me as he sang to me young and beautiful. Happy birthday, baby. And Marie's the name on the piano. Marie's the name. Marie's the name. Ever since I came to the past, not one birthday has been dull. Saturday, Christmas morning, December 25th, 1959, a huge Christmas tree took up most of the space in the living room. I let the guys decorate it and soon regret it as I stare at the poor tree. It looks as if it was screaming bloody murderer. Surprisingly, I woke up early this morning than I have for Christmas, shaking my head at the poor tree. I walk in the kitchen and make a pot of coffee. I yawn, brushing my crazy hair away from my face when I spot Elvis sneaking presents under the tree. Too dazed and lazy to catch him, I gaze as he runs back up the stairs with my coffee cup. I walk back to the tree, investigating the new gifts that were hidden under the tree. Curious, I try shaking one of them. Morning. I turn around scared to as unalived. Passing, I don't know how to say that. YouTube is stupid. As I see Elvis leaning against the stair banister, I tighten my grip on my coffee and hold my nervous laugh. He smirks and struts his way down the steps. I knew you wouldn't be able to resist, he whispers with a smug look. I scoff, rolling my eyes. I can't resist you. Ain't that enough? He chuckles, kissing my cheek. Merry Christmas, baby. I smile, handing him my cup of coffee. He downs half of it and smirks. Just in case you don't get sleepy, he says, chuckling. I kiss him, taking back my cup. Merry Christmas to you too, lover boy. He slips his hand into mine and we go back up to our room. Christmas of '59 was wonderful. I helped Dodger bake the turkey, but we couldn't bake it, and ham as she made the stuffing and mashed potatoes. Well, mashed potatoes after we chowed down. We made the guys wash all the dishes. It's only fair. As the moon rised, we all traded gifts and sang Christmas carols all night long. All night long. All night, all night, all night long. As a family, New Year's was spent with our little family once again. We all sat outside, bearing the cold, to set off a few fireworks. It was an ideal sight to see since Red and Elvis began chasing each other with fireworks in hand. Occasionally one of them would make the other jump as the fireworks would spew out and explode. I couldn't help but make fun of them until Joe scared me with firecrackers. So in my vengeance, I nearly burned down all of his hair with sparklers. Elvis and Red watched laughing, which ended their fireworks fight. As the clock struck 12, Elvis and I had our New Year's kiss. The guys shot out fireworks in the background. We laugh out as it explodes in the air, scaring Red. We began the year apart, but ended the year as a family again. Thursday morning, January 6th, 1960. Aside from the New Year, I was absolutely dreading the fact that the British invasion would soon rise. Don't get me wrong, it's a good era, but for me, I prefer rock and roll and the rebellious 50s. As the year began, it was soon Elvis's birthday. I had to hunt down a gift. Thankfully, German paparazzi isn't as insane like it is back in America. America, don't you cry. Give me strength to face it. So I decided to window shop along the streets of Germany. Sure, there were some reporters, but well-mannered reporters. One introduces himself to me and asked if they could ask me some questions. Taken back from their politeness, I agree and let them join me in my window shopping. How are you liking in Germany? The kind reporter asked, thinking twice of his words. I smile and glance inside a jeweler and turn to him. It's lovely, very lovely and cold. He chuckles and writes on his notepad. I look back at the window, deciding if I should check the place out. And how are you with Mr. Presley? With Mr. Presley's army life? I'm quite proud, if I say so myself. I hear him scribble on his notepad. I wait for him to glance up at me before walking into the store. He stops and holds the door for me. Thank you, Miss Marie, for your kind words. My questions end here. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Surprised, I look at him and smile. You too, thank you, he nods, smiling, and shuts the door behind me. If only everyone was that kind. I walk inside the jeweler, greeting me with a smile. Guten Morgen, I smiled back. Guten Morgen. Thankfully, I taught myself some German while listening to the Mafia and Elvis. It's the only German I don't know how to pronounce. Anything special you're looking for, miss? Anything special you're looking for, miss? Good morning. Anything special you're looking for, miss? He asked, standing up from his work desk. The jeweler was a bit odd, but not old enough for him to realize I was an American. I chuckle as he leans in on the cases of jewelry. I look down to the endless shiny glass cases. They were filled with rings, bracelets, earrings, and watches. I glance back to the mustache jeweler and nod. I need something for my husband, he says excitedly. I shake my head, giggling. Not quite, husband. He slams his fist on the glass, frustrated. What's taking the Boblo so long? What's taking the Boblo Dale so long? I said that wrong again. I couldn't hold in the laughter. He called Elvis a stupid fool. Just birthday, no marriage yet, the jeweler grunts, shaking his head. I follow him to the men's jewelry. I see him here twice for Christmas and birthday. It's taking too long, Stoney says, bringing out beautiful watches and rings on the top of the glass counter. Taken back, I look up at him confused. You know Elvis? He nods, handing me a watch. Of course, he came in for your ring. He shows me a picture of you. Mortified, I stare blankly at him. No worry, he only asked what ring looked good on you. I tilt my head back, inhaling slowly. That Presley has so many sides to him. He liked this watch when he came in looking for your gift, he says softly. I inspect the watch. I can see Elvis wear this. That makes no sense. It's a Hamilton Venture from Switzerland. He got nice taste, he says, gazing up at the watch. I glance up, smiling. You know him well. He throws his arm up in the air. Well, Presley and I spoke for hours, talking about you and him. I love young love. I tell my wife all the stories, and she gets happy too. Reason why I became a jeweler. For I love jewelry, and men come into my shop for engagement rings or a gift to their wife, he explains proudly. That's very wonderful, Mr. Miller, he says, extending his hand. I shake it and glance back at the watch. I'll take it, he grins and takes the watch, putting it in a box. Wise choice, and I may say, I lectured him for not proposing yet. We laugh as he made a few touches and checks on the watch. I pay and he wraps the box in gold wrapping paper. He winks at me with a smile. Just so he thinks it's gold. I giggle, thanking Mr. Miller again, and leave. I can see why Elvis entrusted him with his jewelry. I start window shopping again, hoping to find something else for Eve when a photographer dashes to my side. He asks in an uncultured tone. Again, sorry if I butchered that, because I don't know German. I smile and nod. He stands back and flashes his camera. Dank, he says, smiling, and walks away. Some things are easy to say and some things aren't. I go on with the window shop and then spot a classy pair of tan suede shoes. Yeah, my boots. They'd match his blue suede shoes too. Love my blue suede shoes. I walk in with Elvis's shoe size fresh in my mind this morning. While dressing in dark, Elvis had mistakenly tried putting a pair of my shoes instead of his boots. I tried holding in my laughter as he struggled putting my shoes on. This ain't no 11D, damn it. It caught me laughing and turned on the lights, making me hide my eyes under the sheets. He chuckled for a second and stopped, realizing he put on my shoes. He angrily threw my shoe to the side and ran out the room grabbing his pair of boots. He's like a 10-year-old boy snapping back to reality. Oh, they got this gravity joke. Zero, get out there, zero. Since multiple home, that's when it's back to the lab again, yo. The store clerk helped me search for his size. For what seemed like hours, I found a pair, the last pair too. I buy the shoes and lazily decide to put the watch inside the bag of shoes. It saved me half an hour of wrapping, and knowing him, he'd destroy the paper within seconds. Before walking out, I checked the time. Elvis will be home soon. I ran to a payphone. I'm at a payphone. Oh, my love, and just on you. Yeah, I want to remember. Expect me today, but all of my bridges on now. Wasted my life, you found my sometime. And time where we call love burn, even the sun sets in our eyes. I'm a big on train. Let the change I spend on you. It is the thing on me. It's all wrong. And we never have to did exist. Those fairy tales are full of shit. One more fucking love song. I'll be sick. Yeah. This is what it takes me just to read because I'm always quoting songs when relevant and asks Joe to pick me up. Thankfully, he picks me up within minutes and takes me home. So why'd you get the guy that has everything for his birthday? He says with a smug look. I laugh and shake my head. It's a surprise. You'll probably end up telling Elvis. He turns around at me and sneers. That hurt, Marie, he says with a playful sad tone. Get back to work, Joe. He chuckles, turning back to the road. For the rest of the ride home, he kept making me paranoid about Elvis coming home early and seeing my present for him. Because of that, I playfully smacked the back of his head whenever he'd run through a stoplight. Saturday afternoon, January 8th, 1960. While Vernon and Dodger and Elvis and Memphis St. Matthew surrounded him with their presents, I sneak up the stairs to get mine. I wrote his card in his card and grabbed the shoe bag and make my way downstairs. As Elvis opens the first gift. Thanks, Danny, he exclaims, gazing at his new cufflinks that have his initials. Everyone's eyes are set on me as I slowly set my bag aside. The rest of the gifts, Elvis grows a big smile from ear to ear and yanks the bag to his lap. He opens the watch first and glares up at me with a surprised face. Mr. Miller says hi, by the way. Elvis howls out and stands up, giving me a peck on the lips. Thanks, baby, he says, sitting back down and putting on the watch. I point to the bag. You haven't finished yet. His eyes light up, gazing at the card and a shoe box. He opens the shoe box and laughs out. 11D. Everyone kindly watches as Elvis puts away the gifts and opens the card. He quietly reads the card to himself, glancing up at me every few times. I sigh and my cheeks get hot. As he finished, he jumps up from his seat and picks me up in a bearing hug. I love you so much, he whispers, kissing my cheek. I pat his back until he sets me back down on the ground. He smirks and returns to his seat, chuckling. Joe glares up at me. You always gotta one up everyone. Joe smirks as everyone laughs out and I playfully smack his shoulder. Elvis glares at me, making him shake his head, laughing out. After Elvis opened all his gifts, he thanks everyone with a hug, exception for Dodger and I. He grabs us in a tight hug, kisses us on the cheek. Next was his birthday cake. Of course I had to search for the perfect cake for Pelvis, so I took Dodger with me to the best bakery in town. This is the day before knowing Elvis and his love for chocolate, I asked them to make a large round chocolate covered cake with white frosting and a guitar on top. They say they say they happily obliged to give us a beautiful cake that said Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Elvis. Dodger and I make our way to the kitchen. I grab the ice cream scoop and the ice cream while she sets the chocolate cake right in the middle of the dining table. She sets a couple candles on the cake and lights them. Elvis Elvis, get your behind over here before them candles burn up, she shouts, smiling at me. We watch patiently, patiently waiting for her track to explode. None of you on when you asked to get home. It was like my flow's been so picking on the fucking ball out of so it's we watch patiently as Elvis playfully pushes his way to the front. A smile forms. We already knew he loved his cake. For a change, we sang him happy birthday as he blows out the candles. In a second, Red pushes E's face right in the cake. We all laugh as E turns to Red, quick, and chases him out of the kitchen. I grab a paper towel and walk to the living room there. You guys better be making a truce, or you're not getting any cake, I say, putting my hands on my hip. Red dashes out with Elvis right behind him. I smile as he stops in front of me with puppy dog eyes. He points to his mouth. I kiss him, making his frown fade. Let me clean it, I say, wiping his mouth with a paper towel. Red's head peeks out of the kitchen and Elvis beams. He pulls the paper towel and runs to the kitchen. Thanks, baby. I roll my eyes, laughing as I walk to the kitchen. As I walk back to the kitchen, now it's like an 11-year-old kid. For the rest of the day, we ate cake, Elvis's favourite dinner, and have eating songs, along with playing some records. Record. Reached it. He took turns dancing with Dodger and I. Throughout the rest of the night, Elvis couldn't stop saying how grateful he was for everyone, for a man that gives his everything every day. It's nice to see everyone give their all for his birthday. Late Tuesday, 26th of February 1960. February 26th, 1960. I wait silently for Elvis to return from base on the couch. All the guys were passing by frantically, getting everything set. I look up at the clock. It's 5:10 p.m. And the jet Elvis reserved for me to the Memphis leaves at 6. I stare motionless at the door. I didn't want to leave. Elvis wanted me to get settled in at Grayson's since he knew he'd be busy in the last week of duty. I sigh, hearing Elvis turn off his Cadillac. Joe picks up my bags from the couch. He signals me to the door. It was time to go. I take a deep breath and get up. One thing. I hugged Dodger first, then Vernon. They'd be leaving in a day or two with the mafia. I hug all the guys, open the door and glance at me with frowns. Elvis opens the door and glances at me with a frown. He extends his hand and I take it. He squeezes my hand and kisses my temple. Ready, doll? He asks softly, making his kiss linger. I nod, staring at Joe's frown face. He leads me inside his black Cadillac. He opens the trunk for Joe and gets inside, wrapping his arms around me. Joe starts the car and Elvis kisses the top of my head. The car ride was silent. I decided to take my last minutes in journey to last, and that makes sense. I reminisce and think of when I first arrived. I glance up at Elvis. He glances out at the window, his long eyelashes making his eyes stand out in profile since that first morning of me being here. He has yet to take a single pill. I smile proud watching him. I lean my head on his shoulder and he turns to me. I'll be home as soon as I can. I promise, he softly says, interlacing his entwining his fingers with mine. Knowing Nancy Sinatra will be the first girl he'll see once he leaves the army. I sigh and nod. I turn to look out my window, trying to hide my frown. We made it to the airport. Elvis starts and gets out, getting my bag. In my bags, Joe turns to me and cups my cheek. We'll miss you real bad, too, Joe says quietly. I pat his shoulder. Bye, Joe. He nods, turning back to the front as I get out. Regardless of all the paparazzi, Elvis walks me to the jet with my bags in hand. Paparazzi. Paparazzi. Elvis walks me to the jet with my bags in hand. We are right in front of the jet, and Elvis hands a man my bags. Elvis grabs my hand and looks at me. I love you, he whispers. I love you more. With that, Elvis kisses me goodbye. Photographers take advantage of the moment and take hundreds of photos. He helps me get up the jet stairs. He stands there as they remove the steps. I blow a kiss at him, making the photographers go crazy. Stewardess then leads me away from the door. She closes it shut and I sit at the back of the jet. I stare out the window and see Elvis wave at me. I wave back until the jet starts. We stare at each other through the glass window until I couldn't see him anymore. I sigh and lie down, staring at the ceiling. What seemed like days, I finally arrived back at Graceland. I drive away from my arrival and took my bags. I thanked him as he opened the door for me, and he takes my bags in the trunk. I stare out my window, taking in my surroundings. Holy crap, I'm home. As soon as I arrive at Graceland, I shut up, anxious to get out. The same security man welcomes me, tipping his hat. I wave, smile, and the driver helps me inside with my bags. And soon I yell out in happiness, I'm home! Since the year I spent here waiting for Elvis, I can finally say Graceland is my home without any hesitation. I quickly throw my clothes in the washing machine and order pizza. Then I called Judy. I missed her ever since I left for the rest of the day. I plan to catch up with her and give her and the family their Christmas gifts and souvenirs from Germany as I make myself comfortable. While waiting for Judy, I realise home is definitely where the love is. No, well, word missed out there. Or let missed out there. Anyway, we'll read chapter 21 next time. I can't remember how many chapters there are. I think we've still got loads more to read. Yeah, we have got a few more to read. I seem to read 2 every episode, so. But maybe I should have just read 1 today, because the episode is probably really long now. I'll just have to see when I post this, like, how much time I have, because I've also got to edit my gaming videos and post those to see if I can actually stream on Twitch today, because I want to stream before Thursday as well as Thursday, but like I said, I'll have to see, because college might get in the way again, or I might end up having an interview if I finally hear back about dates for that. Thursday might unfortunately be the only suitable time, which is typical, but we'll see. I can only hope. I can't hope up things and then be disappointed like I was on the 18th of June when I heard about the exam happening when I was going to play Jedi Survivor, but ended up playing it the following week. But yeah. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Bye. And wow, it has been an hour. Maybe I should have stopped after that first chapter, but too late now. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Me too,